Well, here we are again, Barry Funkhauser with Joe, and we have a special guest. It's Erin Grey.
Hi, Erin. Oh, so excited that you're on. Yeah, like I was saying, I'm a huge Gen X kid, so I grew up watching you,
Wow,
and so this is very, very exciting for me.
thank you.
When I when I told my friend Tim, I was like, "Hey, Tim, do you know who Erin Grey is?" He's like, yeah, I know who Erin Grey is from Silver Spoons and Buck Rogers." I was like, "Yeah, we're gonna interview her next week." He's like, "No, oh my gosh." So he is going to be the first person that's going to watch our interview with you today because he is so excited. He has followed your whole career, and he just loved you when he was a kid. He watched all of your like Lifetime movies and all of that. And so what I was I am just really, really impressed at your longevity in Hollywood, because as Barry and I can attest, it is really hard to find consistent work in entertainment.
Yeah,
And you've been doing it since the 70s, and you've
before
taken
that,
all of that. Oh, yeah, before that. And you've
1965.
taken all of that. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
1965. I did my first TV commercials. Yeah, so
Really?
yeah.
It's 60. So you were 10 years old?
I was 15.
You're
I'm
15
an old
years old?
broad.
No, but you've taken all of that great talent and you've been able to translate it into philanthropy. And I find that incredible because you have such a great presence and you're such a strong woman, and you project that whenever you get either on screen or you're on stage or you're promoting something yourself. And so that is great for me. And I just wanted to say, one, thank you. Thank you for taking those talents and doing such great work with it.
It's truly my honor to be of service of any kind to humanity and mankind.
Well, we are very, very thankful for you. Barry, I know
Yeah.
you had some questions that you wanted to ask
Well,
about Erin's businesses.
yeah, no, I was just wondering what Erin's been up to. I want to catch up. What have you been doing lately?
Well, I have a company called Heroes for Hire, and I represent celebrities and book them in Comic Cons around the world. And that keeps me pretty busy these days. So I don't get to audition very often. Occasional movie comes through from a producer or director that I know, but I'm pretty much full time with the company. So
So
go on.
you're at
No.
Yeah.
at all the Comic Cons or the San Diego one, or how does that work? Because
Yeah.
that's fascinating.
I no longer travel to all the cons. At the beginning, when I started the company, I did, and I loved it. And it was great to see the business grow because when I started, it wasn't a business. It was just a handshake with a mom and pop shop somewhere in Ohio who was doing their annual event.
Oh, wow.
I sort of went, you need to organize this a little bit better and have better offers. And this is what you need to get different talent. And it was interesting to watch the business grow. It was like riding a wave that became a tsunami. And I've seen it go from maybe 5 or 6 shows in the United States, one in Germany and one in the UK, to hundreds of shows in every country around the world. And I have to tell you, from a young girl who, raised in the 60s when women had no rights, it's been an interesting journey to realize that no, I didn't have to be a nurse and I didn't have to be a secretary and I didn't have to, be a teacher, although I think teaching is a very honorable profession. No one ever said that I could be CEO of a company or that I could create one. It was not in my mindset, my mother's, or any woman at that time, or very few at least, maybe Katie Kern. But so it was interesting for me to find this niche and know that I could do something and then watch it grow. I mean, I never thought I'd be negotiating with Argentina or Brazil or Saudi Arabia or
Oh, wow.
Indonesia, or they're everywhere now. And
What's
then
the number one superhero right now? What are they asking for? Who's the number one? Is it still Superman?
well, Superman is always and will always be popular. Who is the number one? That's a hard question. I would say Elijah Woods is very high. That's he finally came out and started attending events just recently. Although we don't represent him anymore, but sure wish I did.
And Barry, that's like Lord of the Rings and Hobbit and stuff like
Oh
that. That's
yeah,
what Elijah
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
oh yeah. You're
He
talking
was
about the
Frodo.
real actors behind these superheroes. You're not talking about like cosplay. It's like the real actors. Is that what you're saying?
Real actors. Yeah, there are a lot of cosplays who players who go to these events, absolutely, that's a whole nother niche that sort of grew up in the last 10 or 15 years.
But you're talking about like negotiating with like a Henry Cavill and saying, "Hey, can you come out as Superman for this event?" Is it something like that Heroes Prior does?
I don't work with Henry, although again, I would like to. I do have Brandon Routh.
Oh, nice. We love Brandon. He's so nice.
Sweet guy, really sweet. And then Tom Welling from Smallville and a
Oh,
number
yeah.
of members there. So, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I just, for Tom, I was just so disappointed. I had to wait until the 10 seasons of Smallville to see Superman fly. I mean, come on, let Tom fly, for Christ's sake. Let him get up into the sky. Anyway, so that's fantastic work. So they go out and they go to the cons, but they also do some philanthropy. Are you taking them to children's hospitals, doing anything like that with Heroes Prior?
Well, we do a number of events like Voices Against Cancer. We just had, let's see, who did we have there? Sam Witwer from Star Wars. And it's all for raising money for children. So
fantastic work. I love that.
Thank you.
Are you still doing Tai Chi over there?
Absolutely.
Look at her getting to her flow, man. That's awesome.
Well, I wanted to be a hula dancer when I was 6, so this is as close as I can get to it. Tai Chi is my passion. There's no doubt about it. If I had my druthers, that's all I would be doing is teaching Tai Chi and doing videos for people, because I truly believe it is the greatest exercise that you can do for your entire life, for the rest of your life, and you can own it just by learning the movements.
And when did you start getting into Tai Chi?
Around 1983. So it's been.
Oh, okay. So
years.
you are an actual master now.
I am a master. I'm not a grandmaster. Well, technically, a master is considered a teacher. A grandmaster is a teacher who's had students who've become teachers. So.
Okay.
I had a couple of students become teachers as well. I just came back from Dragon Con, and it's the only show that I really do every year, because they let me teach my Tai Chi classes there. And
that's
I find
fantastic.
that the sci-fi audience is very willing to embrace ideas that maybe the Western mind can't actually grasp easily.
Yeah, that's actually something that I've noticed as well. Being a sci-fi nerd, but basically all my life, going to a bunch of cons, doing video games, I have found that for the most part, sci-fi fans are very tolerant. And I think that
intelligent. It's really amazing.
Yes, and I think a lot of that comes from the storytelling in sci-fi. A lot of that is about learning new cultures, we got that in Buck Rogers, we got that in Star Trek, we see that in Star Wars, learning new cultures, trying to all come together in a universe and live together. So I think that really does translate to sci-fi fans and how they view the world that we live in. And so it
visualize the future. This is what you get with sci-fi, is using the imagination and knowledge to say, what if, what could, what happens when, that sort of thing. So yeah,
absolutely. And then you take that and then you marry it with Tai Chi. And I think Tai Chi is great for you, because I think everybody needs a release, and everyone needs to figure out how to be better at stress management. And I know that Tai Chi does a lot of that. I also do yoga, and I run a lot. And that is my stress release. That's what keeps me going. And so it's nice to see that you have found that so early in your life, because it took me until 40 to figure out, oh, wow, I am really bad at stress management. I got to figure out something to do. And yoga was my entrance into that lifestyle.
Yoga.
So that was great.
Love yoga. But what I like about Tai Chi is everything is circular, and you learn to move every single ligament and tendon in the body. And more importantly, really get in touch with your connective tissues and be able to open up the 14 primary channels of energy in your body. Most people don't realize that not only stress, but your emotions affect certain organs in your body. So lungs in Chinese medicine is paired up with your large intestine. So if you went to your acupuncturist because you have a cold, he would check your large intestine to see whether or not the breakdown in functionality is your
Oh.
large intestine. So my grandmother used to say, "You have the sniffles, have an enema, you'll be fine." So I think grandma knew something about Chinese medicine.
I'm gonna not say no to the enema, but I do like the stress release part of all of the other things that you said.
Well,
Yes.
it's more about the fact that stress and emotions lock up the the primary channels of energy in your body. And when that happens, you wear down your immune system and you become more susceptible to illness. So the idea is to keep your immune system strong, but also if you do get sick, how do you heal yourself out of the situation? So
Absolutely. You know what? I'm sold. Erin, when's your next class? I want to sign up right now. I'm going to be front row. You're going to
okay.
teach me all of the moves because, I like you were saying, like yoga was great for me. It was a great entrance. I got a little bored with it. So I
Yeah,
think something like Tai Chi
you
would
won't be
get me
bored.
back into that flow. Yeah, exactly.
It's
I
very
wouldn't be bored.
a lot of people misunderstand it. They see this very slow moving form. But the awareness that you need to know what one hand is doing and the other is doing is very complicated. It's simple, it's easy, it's not stressful on the body in any way because you want to enliven the body and fill the body with energy. What I like about it is you're also learning a martial art. So,
Right. Right.
yeah.
And it also is a strengthening practice because you are keeping muscles under tension while you are moving.
It's
So,
so much,
um,
it's not
yeah.
tension so much as the release of tension. It's learning how to
Oh, okay.
go, let go of that tension. So many, I just came back from Dragon Con and I would have to point out to people where they were holding tension in their shoulder, not realizing how that was affecting their alignment of their body and that they weren't walking correctly. They had no balance. Why didn't they have balance? How to correct that, how to train the body to move in a balanced way. And one part of you moves and all of you move. So it's you're working every ligament and tendon and connective tissue in your body in the
Well,
movement.
okay. Well, I'm going to need a personalized training session because you're going to have to tell me to release tension every 3 minutes.
Yeah.
That's just
It'll never
I'm like,
work, Aaron. It'll
it'll
never
never.
work. There's nothing you could do to solve Joe's problems there.
All
But
he has to do is commit.
yeah,
I got to commit.
okay, a little bit of a pivot then, because you are in Hollywood. Um, Cobra Kai, have you seen it? What do you think about it?
I have not seen it. Sorry
Oh,
to disappoint you, but I
yeah, because
can.
it's like martial arts ish, right?
What it
It's
is,
martial arts.
what I more prefer is Keanu Reeves' movie, The Tai Chi Man. To make
Oh
one,
yeah.
it's an excuse for martial arts to see fighting martial arts, different kinds of styles. But I love the fact that it's the Tai Chi student who beats everybody.
Because he's under control.
Well, there's also something, if you see the movie, you'll see the Grand Master and the young student. They're doing what something called push hands, and they're arguing the whole time that they're doing it. And all of a sudden, the Grand Master gets pissed and he throws him chi without touching him. And what happens, he goes flying across the room and he lifts up a t-shirt and it's all black and blue. And that is
Oof.
truly a Grand Master, one who can throw chi. So you see Doctor Strange, right? Throwing chi. Well, that's the concept behind Tai Chi, is throwing chi, understanding chi, how to
Seaberry?
connect with chi. I mean, for example, my cats and dogs love it when I give them a chi bath. I don't even touch them. I just run my hand over their body and they just go, okay, mama. Yeah, all right, a little more of that, please.
I'm gonna try that with my cats.
Yeah.
I got
You
first
got to
gotta
send the chi. You got to
calm
figure out how
myself
to
first. I
move
gotta
the chi, connect with the chi, expand the chi, move it through your body. Anyway, I'm
Well,
complete.
we'll have to do this just before the big party. There's a big gala
mm.
going on.
Yes.
First off, before we talk about that, what is the Innocent Lives Foundation? Like, how long has it been around and what does it do?
Yeah, the Innocent Lives Foundation has been around about 5 years. It was created by
Okay.
Chris Hednaghi, and he is considered a white hat hacker, a social engineer, or information security.
Mhm.
what's the word? Security professional. I have to look at my notes from time to time. These are,
Do the
but
same
I
thing. Don't
think
worry
white
about it.
hacker says it all, and
Mhm.
which means he goes into companies. He is hired by companies to check their security systems, and so he goes in and finds their weaknesses and lets them know, no, you have a break here. Here's how you can improve your security, and so on. And while he was working with a company, he discovered an employee who was using his work computer to sell videos of him doing molesting children. And he worked with the company and gathered the information and provided it to the FBI, and he is now in jail. And it was at this time that he realized he had a talent that can be used for good and something in a really special way, because law enforcement don't have the time to follow every lead. Somebody may call and say this is happening, and like, how do they know what's really true and what lead they're going to
Mhm.
follow? So in this way, they know that if Chris and his company provide information, it is actionable and able to bring to prosecution. That they can't, if they have enough information, they can't have loopholes, and that's their goal, is to make sure that it's solid evidence that they can bring them to trial and so on. So um, I got involved because an acquaintance of mine that I had done a TED Talk with, she was my director at the TED Talk. She's on the board of directors, and Stephanie Paul, and she called me up and she said, would you like to be on the board of directors? And at first I was like, you have no idea. I'm
Right.
working 12 hours a day. I barely have time for my family. And then she just kept talking and giving me information. And I said, well, let me think about it. And I kept thinking about it and thinking about it and realized I couldn't
Thinking
stop
about it.
thinking
Yeah.
about it, that it really kind of touched a chord in my heart, that if there was some way that I could lend my voice to this cause, that it was worthwhile for me to do that. So then I joined the board of directors. And we have a gala, a fundraising gala, on September 23rd at the Castaways restaurant in Burbank.
Yes.
And we really love it if some people would buy tickets. And it's being hosted by LeVar Burton, and we have
That's
a
right.
wonderful band called the Action Figures. So Adrian
Nice.
Pazar from Heroes, Greg Grunberg, also from Heroes, and Scott Grimes and Drew Powell will all be there performing for our
Yeah, got
That's
gala.
some
it, Joe.
Some
That's
J.J.
who we were
Abrams
trying to
people
think
there.
of. We were trying
Yeah,
to think of
that's
heroes
awesome.
before. That's cool.
That's
Is
what it
that
That's a
was.
great.
cool?
Yeah. It's so
That's so
cool, and it
cool.
totally ties in. Heroes
Yeah,
for hire, and they're there, and so they're all
well,
heroes already. So it's great.
exactly.
So no, for the Innocent Lives Foundation and for Chris, it's been 5 years and you've already brought in 500 people that were
Yes,
breaking the law and exploiting children, correct?
I believe it was 497 was the last figure I got. So you're really close. And
Really,
yeah,
really close. We're almost there. That's
we're
great.
almost there.
Every bit that we could do
And with
to,
every person bring to prosecution, there's usually, it expands. There's numerous other people connected to that person
yep.
who also needs to be watched and brought to justice.
Absolutely. One question I did want to bring up, and I don't know if your foundation is looking into this or is this something that they do, but have you, on the periphery of child exploitation, have you been seeing any of the recent articles in like the New York Times and others about the problem that we're having in the United States
Yes.
with illegal child labor at meat packing plants and textile factories? It's awful. I'm just wondering, is that something that you've heard about? Is that something that your foundation looks into as well?
I don't know so much if it's manufacturing so much as human trafficking. That is
Mm-hmm.
definitely their focus. And it just appalls me to think of men, women, and children being kidnapped and forced into slavery, basically,
Yes.
and forcing them to do vile acts of sex. And these children are locked in rooms with no windows. They have no health care. They have nobody watching over them. That the sense of hopelessness and loss that they must feel, that the destruction of the spirit and soul is just to me the worst kind of tragedy that what we can imagine. I mean, it's almost worse than dying, because it's a prolonged suffering that goes on and a sense of hopelessness that they never get out. And
those people are dying every day, every single day. They are like dying a little bit more because they're just used, and it's not.
And their hope dies, their spirit dies. Who's going to find me? Who's going to protect me? Who's going to come after me? Well, innocent lives will.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's who's going to come after them. That's who's going to save them. And that's one thing that we're so grateful that we have foundations like this. But I just want people to make sure to know that this isn't just out there in the world, people. This is happening right here in our state, in our city, and in our country, everywhere. It's not just like third world countries. It's everywhere, and we all have to do our part.
It's gone up 52% in the last couple of years, and the rise in human trafficking is just horrible. I once had a girlfriend who was modeling with me, and she went to Paris at 18. She almost was pulled into white slavery. She was groomed by a woman that she met at a local farmer's market in Paris, where she would go to get food. And the woman invited her to go to Tunisia. She had gotten to know her over a couple of weeks and befriended with her. And she went to the airport, and she decided she would call her agent to say, hey, I'm going to Tunisia, but I'll be back on Monday to work. And they said, who are you going with? And she told them their name. And they said, drop the phone. Get out of there. Don't let anybody grab you, touch you. Just run. She had no idea that she was maybe 50 feet away from disappearing. And she's now a very famous actress, married to a very famous another actor. And I hope someday she comes out with her story. I can only tell you the gist of it, but without saying who it is. But
you don't want to out that person.
I think it's just something. How close she could have come for her life being completely ruined. Anyway.
Right. No, that's a fascinating story, because I think that that comes to another point. Outside of financially supporting foundations like yours, what are some other things that people can do? Is it like if see something, say something type of situation? Is it who would people contact if they are worried about something like human trafficking or child exploitation, or if they just see something that just doesn't sit right with them? Who would they contact?
Well, I would start with the Innocent Lives Foundation and let them follow up on it. That lead, they have the expertise and the staff of 35 volunteers that can help them with this. That would be, because again, if you call law enforcement, it's like getting a junk mail. It's like you don't know which one you're going to respond to and who is legitimate. So something like that would be the best way. I mean, I was just at the airport in Atlanta, and they were announcing on the loudspeaker of, if you see something, say something. Human trafficking is a major issue, and people need to pay attention and keep an eye out for anything that you see is suspicious in the way a child is acting or not acting or reacting. You need to do what you can, really.
Great. And what we can do immediately is visit the website, innocentlivesfoundation.org. And the gala's coming up,
September
which is going to be
23rd.
in Burbank.
Yes.
With a big deal. This won't be the only gala, will it? Are you planning on doing more?
This is the first, and we hope to be able to do more if it's successful. So we really need people to, if they can't make it to the event, please make a donation. Anything will help. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's the first annual, Barry. So that means they are planning on it coming back.
Yes, exactly. And
it's at the Castaway. Barry, when was the last time you went to the Castaway? You've never been to the Oh man,
No.
We used to go to the Castaway all the time for drinks after work. It was great. When I was freelancing over at WB, we just like cruise across the street, grab a drink, hey, see some stars, hobnob with some people. It was a good time, man.
Yeah, it's a beautiful restaurant. It sort of feels like you're in paradise. That you're somehow out of the city and a little bit of Hawaii influence, a little bit tropical feel, a beautiful view, really great food. I was there with my daughter for her birthday. That's why I recommended it to the board that we go there. So
Your daughter Sam Rubin.
yes, she is.
Oh, I'm sorry. We watched the KTLA thing, and it was just like the funniest thing. You and Sam Rubin going back and forth about the name was just like so funny to me. So say hi to Sam and the other Sam for us. We like both of them.
Yeah. So you guys cover a lot of music, I see. I noticed on your website, right?
Oh yeah, we are music focused. We try to get a lot of indie bands some exposure. Because there's a lot of people out there with a lot of talent, and not everybody has the resources of a Beyonce or a Taylor Swift. So we're just trying to help a little bit and get them out in front of people.
Great.
Why is that? You looking for a band?
No, but my daughter Sam is married to Ilana Rubin from Nine Inch Nails, and
that's a big. Yeah, that's awesome. That's great.
That's a big one. Yeah.
To be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And he just finished doing a couple of concerts with Danny Elfman, knocked it out of the ballpark. He's pretty talented.
Over at the Hollywood Bowl, right?
He didn't do that performance. He was down in Irvine and in San Diego just recently working with Danny.
Well, the Irvine performance was like Danny Elfman going back to his 1980s, 90s roots. That's when I saw Oingo Boingo. Yeah. Was their Halloween shows down, because I lived in Fullerton, and so I would just drive down to Irvine, and I went to one, and it was wow. So
the visuals, the music, we rocked the neighborhood.
So that's great. So cool that your son-in-law was able to have that experience with Danny. That's so awesome.
He's I believe they're planning on a tour next year, so we'll see what happens.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, then we're gonna call you. I'm gonna go to your Tai Chi class, and then I'm gonna ask you for tickets.
There we go.
And you're gonna be like, "Here
don't
you go."
Don't give him anything, Aaron. Don't give him a thing. He doesn't deserve it.
I'm like a stray puppy. I'll come back.
He'll be in the back on his phone anyway. The whole time. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Let's leave this episode with your favorite Nine Inch Nails song.
Oh dear, not a good choice. Let's put it this way: I love the fact that he's with Nine Inch Nails, but that's not my favorite band. It's the Eagles.
All right,
it's the Eagles. Let's go with an Eagles song.
Yeah.
Oh, California. Hotel California.
Hotel California?
Yeah, definitely.
We could do that one. I have been on an Eagles kick for like a month, so I am all about this right now.
I have to share something with you. My daughter is the expert on music, and so is Ilana. She worked for Rolling Stone, and it was sort of a joke within the family that Mom never knows the title of anything. I love music. I love music that makes me feel and move my body, because I'm a dancer at heart. Nine Inch Nails is a little too heavy metal for me. Very talented group. I shouldn't probably be saying this. Oh God, I'm going to get into trouble.
I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure he still loves you. It's going to be okay. Trent Reznor, on the other hand, might have some words for you next meeting.
Or his wife, Mary Queen. I must say,
Mary's fine.
I don't know the name of the song, but I watched Mary Queen at a concert, sort of moving to her husband's music, and I went, okay, that's the one that's speaking to me, but I don't know the name of it, unfortunately. At one point, I said to my daughter, I said, I really want to make a playlist, and I don't know the names of the songs that I like. And she said, okay, Mom, well, we're going to go online, and I'm going to play some songs for you. You let me know what you like. And she'd play something. Oh, that's it. I like that. She said, well, Mom, that's the Eagles. I said, okay. Then she'd play some more, and finally she'd going, I like that one. She said, Mom, it's the Eagles. 4 or 5 songs, I suddenly realized, okay, I'm an Eagles fan.
I'm an Eagles fan. All right, cool.
I a little bit more, but yeah. Anyway.
All right, well, Barry, let's get Hotel California on for it.
Yeah,
why don't we?
Thank you so much, Aaron, for coming on. We'll see you next time.
Appreciate it. All right, take care.